Okay, let's start with the installation of MySQL database server for Windows 10. I have Windows 10 on my computer. So what you have to do, you have to simply write MySQL installer on Chrome, uh, or you can just simply select for 64-bit, and then you will see something like that, download MySQL community server. So click over it, then you will see this thing. First, this MySQL database server is necessary if you are going to do something with Java and Eclipse. And this is the tutorial for my students that how they can install and configure MySQL community server on their Windows-based machines. So here MySQL community server you are seeing, and um, down the page, you can see three different options: 64-bit Windows and MySQL 8.0.3. This is the latest. And then Windows 64-bit zip file, debug binary and test suite. So if you don't know these things, then you can simply, what we want to do, we want to download the MySQL installer first, so that then the further options will come and we will select what are the things that we want to install. So just go to download page, because we are going to download the installer for the MySQL. So Windows platform is already set, and this is the only one option. So here you can see Windows 86 32-bit MIS installer, and this is MySQL installer web community, and this is MySQL installer simple community. So at the moment, I only want the simple one. You can download web community. You can also install MySQL installer community. So I want to remain as a simple with the simple version. So what I will do, I will select this one, the last one, simple MySQL installer. So I will click on this download, and no thanks, just start my download, click over it, and it is now started to be download here. Downloading is started. So I just stop the recording, and after downloading, I will come again. So now you can see that the MySQL installer is now downloaded. So what I can do, I can, for example, you can just click over it. You can see in which folder it is, in downloaded folder for sure. So show in the folder. So MySQL installer is there. Uh, Local users, HP, and then downloads in the download folder. So just double click over it so that we can install it. And we are seeing this dialog box first, and it is asking me that, do you want to allow this app to make? Yes, just click over this yes. These are the things every students of IT or CS know, all these things in advance. So now I will see another screen here. Uh, this might be due to double click, or if you will see it again, just click over that yes button, and now the MySQL installer is configuring something for us. Here, this is the first step, choosing a setup type. The first option is for developer default. If you don't know anything, just uh, make this option selected and just click over next if you don't know anything. And this is for only database server only, MySQL server only. And this is client only, so MySQL will be installed, but only for your machine without any server options. Full, it will contain all the options according to its name. And the last is the custom. So I will select custom because I don't need any further things I only need MySQL database. So let's see what happened with this option. So I will select next, and after that, these options are available to me. MySQL server, which I am in need, and I will also configure the MySQL connector. And if for Java is available, then I will download it. So just open this first one, MySQL server, and clicking over it, uh, I have this MySQL server 8.0.27. So just click over it and then just click this green button so that it will move on to the right side, because this is the option I am going to install. And click over this application. Okay. Most of the things are not needed, but if you want a workbench is an API which will give you graphical user interface to execute different MySQL operations. If you want a graphical user interface for your MySQL, then then you must have to install this. Otherwise, you can do your operations on simply on terminal. So I am also selecting this MySQL workbench. So click over it and move it to the right position. And similarly, I am going to see what these MySQL connectors, because connector is something I also need. So I also need this connector later on. So it's better to is just to also select this option, connector 8.02, in one step. Otherwise, I have to download this connector separately. So if this option is available there, so it is better for me to just select this option towards your right side so that it can be installed later on. And this is something I don't need a connector for C++ or for ODBC like that. Documentation, I don't need any documents. So after these things, just click over this next button. And here, MySQL Server 8.0.27 along with its workbench is going to be installed, and this is the requirement. If you don't have these things on your machines, these things will automatically be installed along with these things. So you don't have to worry. So um, so I'm just, you can just click on this execute button simply. So just click over this execute button and you can see the status downloading 6%, 8%, and so on. And after some time, MySQL Server 8.0.27 will be downloaded. So after, when the downloading will be completed, then this installer will try to install this MySQL server on your machine, and this dialog box will appear. So just click over this agree button and click over this install button so that it will install all the things for you. So this is the requirement and it is now installed. Requirement Visual C+ 2.9. So installation done, and you can see the green check options here on the left side, and just click over the next. Both the MySQL Server 8.0.27 and Workbench are installed now. So downloaded now, sorry. So the next, after clicking the next button, and you will see MySQL Server ready to install, Workbench ready to install, connector ready to install. So just simply click over this execute button without wasting the time. And it is again, installation is in progress. After the installation of MySQL Server, it will be checked with this green button, and the next item will start its installation process. So you have to wait until all these three processes will be completed. So as we can see, this is installed 99% progress has been made. So now, as you can see, all these three options are now complete, and so we can move on. So just click over this next button, or you can click over this show details button to see the details. I don't want to see, so just click over this next button. So next is the configuration step, as you can see from the left hand side of this tab. So MySQL server ready to configure. So installation is done, but now we are going to configure. Configure mean now we will set the username and password and other things. So okay, click over this next button, and here you can see configuration type, development computer, TCP/IP port 33, which is the default port. So you don't have to change anything here on this page. So just see all these things, what these things are, and click over this next button. Okay, the first option, use strong password encryption for authentication. Again, you don't have to do anything, just click over this next button. And here, accounts and roles. So root is your default account basically, and MySQL root password. You have to give the password for your root. The default username is basically the root, and this is asking only for the password. So I can just simply type any simple password so that it can uh, so that I can remember this password always, because it is the password which I will use for my own development and not for any project. If you want to keep a strong password, then you can use any combination. So uh, but I am using the simple one, 1 2 3 4, and similarly 1 2 3 4. So this is the weak password. Okay, no problem. It is my, this will be on my own machine, so no issue. And then I'm going to click this next button. If you want to use another user, if root is the default user, okay, for which can use this database, MySQL database. If you want to use another user, you can add by using these options, but I am just clicking over this next button. After that, configure MySQL server as a Windows service. Okay, you don't have to change anything here. All the default options are very good. Start the MySQL server at system. It means that when you will restart your Windows, this MySQL server will automatically start. And this is the thing which I want always. So this is MySQL 8.0 something. So if you want to display this thing, it is better, or simply MySQL, no any issue. You don't have to write anything like that. So this is the thing that you can just change. Otherwise, there is no any need to change anything. You can go on with the default options by clicking over this next button. So click over it, and then you will see all these configuring steps, writing configuration files. And so these are the steps that this installer has to perform. So just click on this execute button, and then it is all these configuration steps are being performed by this installer, as you are seeing. So initializing database, starting, and all these configuration steps are done, and there is a finish button here. Just click over this finish button. And now product configuration, MySQL 8.0 configuration complete. Okay, no issue. Just after finish, uh, click over this next button. Installation procedure has been completed. Copy log to clipboard. I don't need any log. Okay. Start MySQL workbench. After when you click this finish button, the graphical user interface of MySQL workbench will automatically start. But we have also installed the MySQL for command line, or for the command prompt. We also have installed after clicking over this button. Just click over this button. And now you will see after some moments, this is the graphical user interface, which I said in my installation to start automatically. I don't need at the moment yet. So just I am going to minimize it, and then just click over this start button. And here you can see MySQL 8.0 command line, or you can search on the this. So it will automatically appear in your start button, list of the start button, or you can just type it here, MySQL, and it will show you the things which you want. For example, I want MySQL 8.0 command line. So just click over this one. So it will ask the password for your MySQL. What is the password? I said 1234. So I'm just entering those passwords simply. Uh, I can just make it no in smaller portion. So I entered the password 1234 and I just press the enter button, and now it is started. So this is basically the procedure now, after which we can say that now our MySQL is working properly. The rest of the things are uh, you can check your queries. So I am just going to be exit. And as far as the graphical user interface, you can see graphical user interface is already running, asking for the password now. After double clicking over it, dialog box or pop-up menu will appear, and it will ask for the password. I will enter the password 1234 and save password in the vault. Okay, save it, so that next time it will not ask. When you click over it, then you can see this is the graphical user interface. And if you want to see some tables or databases, just click over this schema and then see there are the tables available here. And then you can play with this graphical user interface, and it will help you to create tables, database, view different tables, etc., etc. All the things that you can perform by writing queries on the command line of MySQL, you can all perform all these operations visually in this graphical user interface, which is called MySQL Workbench. Hope it will be a beneficial tutorial for you. See you again. And by the way, this MySQL installation is necessary for my students who are uh, going to do who are doing this Java course with me, and we are using Eclipse. So before configuring Java for the databases, and especially for this MySQL, so you have to install MySQL database server first as separately, and then we will do some other things with the Eclipse to configure this MySQL server with the Eclipse editor. But now the things are ready, and the Eclipse connectivity with the MySQL, I will explain it in another tutorial. Thank you very much.